Hey guys, alright, so today I want to talk about complex numbers. So complex numbers include an imaginary unit, okay? So imaginary unit, and we call that I, alright? Some things that I need you to remember, long-term memory, okay? The square root of -1 is equal to I, and I squared is equal to -1. These two things we have to remember, okay? So whenever I see a negative under a radical sign, I know it's an I, okay? So the first few problems that we want to do is we want to just simplify, okay? So this is 3 times the square root of -16. And I'm just going to rewrite it as a -1 times 16. -1 times 16 is -16. So I didn't do anything. I didn't solve anything. I just rewrote it. Okay? Now, for here, I like you guys to do arrows. Okay? So arrows are kind of telling us, hey, this turns into this. So the square root of -1 is I. So here's I. The square root of 16 is 4. And we're going to multiply that by 3. Okay, so 3 times I is 3I, times 4 is 12I. The next problem we're going to do is a negative times a -75. Now you can rewrite this as -1 outside. This is -1. And think about the factors of 75. Are any of the factors a perfect square? They are. Well, what about 25 times 3? Okay. We are going to drop down some arrows and say, all right, well, the square root of -1 is I. The square root of 25 is 5. And I'm going to also multiply it to the -1 outside. So this is -5I, and the 3 I can't do anything with. So if you like to cross these out, you can, and you see that 3's left. So -5I times the square root of 3. Okay, that is just simplifying. We also want you guys to solve. So we have x squared equals -81. Okay? The fastest way to get rid of a square is to square root both sides of your equation. And when we square root a number, you have to take the positive and the negative. So the square and the square root cancel each other out, and you have x equals plus or minus. Whenever I see the negative, I know it's an I, and the square root of 81 is 9. Okay. You may get a equation that's a little larger, so 3x squared plus 75 equals 0. Okay, you're going to move your 75 over first. So we're slowly getting everything away from your x. Divide by 3. 3's cancel, leaving you x squared equals -25. Square root both sides. The square and the square root cancel. It leaves you x plus or minus. The I is my negative. Square root of 25 is 5. Okay, so here we just simplified. Here we are solving. So I need you guys to remember, when you solve, you have to take the positive and negative for your answer. Okay? Now, I want to talk about conjugates. Okay? So, complex numbers are written as A plus BI. The conjugate of A plus BI would be A minus BI. The only thing that changed was my sign. Okay? So if you have a 2 plus 3i, the conjugate would be 2 minus 3i. If you had 4 plus I, you'd have 4 minus I. Okay, these are conjugates. Now, you may get one where the I is in the front. Well, I can't tell you the conjugate until that's in the right order, okay? The I's are always second. So this is a positive 3, so I'm going to leave it positive. That's a positive 2i, I'm going to leave that positive. Now I can give you the conjugate. 3 plus 2i, the conjugate is 3 minus 2i. Okay? If you have 8i plus 2, we'll do a negative eta. You're going to rewrite it. The 2 is positive. The 8i is negative. The conjugate of 2 minus 8i is 2 plus 8i. All right? So that is our chapter on complex numbers. Good luck.